Hi everyone, Tom Vogel here with Wrestling's Finest Pro Wrestling PC game. As we continue our series of videos, I have it all set up and we're ready to go. A match between Roddy Piper and the champion Hulk Hogan. And we had made all of our pre-match selections, and we've reviewed the cards of each wrestler, their ratings, and we're pretty much ready to start. The only thing I want to do before we get going is check their strategy cards. So Roddy gets 7. His first one, after a successful hold, he could use a specialty hold section. After a successful hold, he could attempt to get Hulk outside the ring. We have another one where he can use a specialty hold section. Here's a very important card. He can counter any strategy card that Hulk Hogan plays. He can call for outside help anytime. He can have another card to go outside the ring. And another very important one, during a pin or submission attempt, he can make it to the ropes. So very good, strong cards for Roddy. Hulk has, he has a get to the ropes card, which just means anytime he's getting pinned, if he plays this card, he stops the pin. Next one, he has another ropes card. Here he has a specific specialty hold, so if Hulk wants to use his patented slam leg drop following a successful hold, this card will allow him to do it. Super important card to have. Hulk has an outside help card, not a good, or I shouldn't say not a good, just not a useful card for a face good guy wrestler. I'm very big on the integrity of Wrestling's Finest, and I realize that when someone buys a game, they're allowed to play it however they elect to, but I will be honest, it does bother me when gamers do not follow the integrity of the ratings or the game, and this would be an example. Hulk Hogan, I'm sure he might have once in a great while, but Hulk did not call for outside help. That's just not something most of your good guy wrestlers would do. Luckily, their ratings in the game are very low, so if they do call for outside help, typically nothing will happen. But by calling for outside help, you get away from, the integrity and how the game was designed. So, second one, he has another call for outside help. So if you look at Hulk's cards, he has specific specialty and 2 get to the rope. So he actually has some pretty good cards too. So this should make for an interesting match. So let's get this thing underway. All right, Roddy has control. As you see in the text here, wrestlers lock up and fight for leverage. They get a little testy as they get frustrated, but it calms down when both the wrestlers retreat. So we'll start here again. Hulk assumes control, and he thumbs Roddy Piper's eyes. 5 off Piper's stamina. So you'll see here, he'll go from 73 to 68. Damage is 5 currently for the match. Hulk has control, but he apparently slipped on a wet spot in the mat and loses control. Roddy takes over. Now, when this box pops up, it essentially means Roddy failed a disqualification check or an outside ring check. So we're going to go with punches because that's what Roddy's more likely to do, and it's a more stamina off than an arm hold. So we're going to click OK, and we'll see it was a disqualified check that did not result in a DQ. So Roddy gets to take 6 off Hulk. Roddy stays in control, and he does a double eye poke at Hogan. That's a move I've seen Roddy do several times, where he kind of takes his forefinger to his index finger and just pokes him in his opponent's eyes. I think I've tried that with my little brother a couple times. Once again, Roddy's in control. Again, he failed the DQ check, which is actually good, so the match will continue. So another 6 off Hogan. So we see that Hogan's had 18 taken off, and his stamina is now down to 43. Again, another eye gouge by Roddy. Hulk gains control, and he feels he might catch Piper off guard with a surprise specialty move. So let's see what happens. So Hulk the way I envision this, and this is where your imagination comes into play with Wrestling's Finest, following the eye gouge, I picture the referee pulling Piper back or pushing him back and warning him, and Hogan, sensing he has a quick advantage, charges out of the corner and just levels Piper with a clothesline. It's 11 off, and he also gets to attempt to pin Piper. So the specialty move allows extra numbers to be added to Piper's pin rating. So he goes from 25-24-3 to 39-33-3. So let's see what happens here. We get a 1, 2, 31. Roddy kicked out. So let's review this. Roddy's pin rating is 39. I turned an 8, so it's within that, so he got a 1 count. Second's a 33, turned to 23, he got a 2 count. Now to get a 3 count, Hulk had to turn a 1, 2, or 3, and he didn't even come close to that. So keep that in mind for a second here. Piper's 39-33-3. Let's look at Hogan's card here. His specialty move he tried was a clothesline, and you see the 14 and the 9 and the 0. This is added to Roddy's pin rating. So this makes Roddy a 39. Then we add the 9 to the second one, the 33. And then since nothing's added to the third pin rating, it still stays at 3. That's how we came up with the 39-33-3. Had Roddy been in another stamina level or two, then his pin rating would have gone up significantly higher. So you typically want to use your specialty move strategy cards the farther you get into the match and the worse off your opponent is with his pin rating and stamina. However, there are times you might feel the match is slipping away and you get maybe a little bit desperate, so you might want to try a specialty move just to turn the tide or surprise your opponent. So let's get back to the match here. Hogan still in control, and he punches Piper, barely stopping before the 5 count. Hogan lifts Piper up for a big body slam, full body slam, 11 off, and we got a pin attempt. Oh, Roddy turned to 29, which is over 25, so no pin. Oh, looks like Hogan's going to try to take Piper outside the ring. Outside the ring action, he's pushed back to the floor. So how I picture that is Hulk tossed Roddy out of the ring, and as Roddy came back, tried to get back in, Hogan nailed him with a big boot and pushed him back to the arena floor. Not too much damage there. Hogan, throwing the rule book out, because he's kind of a cheater, holds Piper in a headlock and punches him while shielding this from the ref. Another 6 off. So you see Roddy's now down to 24. Roddy's stamina off is 49. Hogan's is 24. Piper comes back and stomps on the shoulder of Hogan. Roddy, sensing he might have an advantage, he's going to go for a specialty move. Tries to get him in the sleeper, but Hogan easily countered it. Once a move is countered, now Hulk gets to attempt to move. The game, of course, will decide it, but that's why counters are so important. Hogan going for a specialty move. Clothesline, 11 off, but this time he's not able to go for the pin. So on this one, I could see Roddy trying to grab the sleeper on Hogan. Hogan blocks it and just turns around and just levels Hot Rod with a vicious clothesline. Hogan remains in control. He ties opponent up in the Indian Deathlock. 4 off. I do have a hard time seeing Hogan do this move, but what we have for all of the moves, we have text files that randomly draw in the type of hold. So if you have a hard time visioning Hulk Hogan performing an Indian Deathlock, I would picture it maybe as he just does like a toe hold and locks Hot Rod up that way. Oh, Hogan must be still a little ticked off at Hot Rod. He's going to try to take this outside the ring again.
Bleeding profusely from around the right eye and the head.
So here we had a situation, and hopefully you heard the audio there. Outside the ring they go, and Hogan runs Roddy right into the ring post. It's 15 off, but then a huge gash occurred, so that takes 25 off Piper. So that's like a 40-point move. You'll see several things here to point out. First of all, Roddy's stamina went to the next level, and it's already down to 42. His pin rating is 30-29-3. Submissions up to 13-8. We've taken 104 off Piper and 25 in cuts. So Hogan only has 30 off, Piper has 104, so Hogan definitely is seizing the advantage of this match. Now, Roddy might want to take a look. What could he do here? Nah, not ready for a specialty move. Outside ring possibility, no specialty, nothing to counter. Don't think we're quite ready to call for outside help, but I think what I might consider doing is using this outside the ring card. Let's just see what happens here. Pepper and Piper with punches. Now a kick to the midsection. Now this is where it's getting a little bit serious here, because Hogan now has Piper in a world of hurt, and once again he's going to go for a specialty move. So we go clothesline, and it's going to give us the opportunity to attempt an illegal pin. Hulk is not going to do it. He's going to see if he can get Piper on his own merits. So let's see what happens here. Now, notice Roddy jumped to 40-45. That means unless Roddy gets a ropes card come up in the fast action cards, the 1 and 2 are going to be automatic. So let's see what happens here. We get a 1, 2. Now, Roddy has an opportunity here. I did that kind of quick, but if the strategy box is activated, that means Roddy has either a get to the ropes card, which I showed you prior to the match that he has one of those, or he has an outside help card, or he has both. So the question you're going to get here is, do you want to use a strategy card to make it to the ropes? Does Roddy want to stop the pin right now? Let's kind of analyze this for a quick second. Roddy's third pin rating is 5. That means he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers out of 40 that he could get pinned. At this stage, I'm going to say no, because that ropes card is so valuable, it will probably come in handy later in the match. So we're going to click no. Then it asks us, since he also has an outside help strategy card, does he want to call for outside help? Now, in a previous video, I explained there's 2 outside helps that can occur during wrestling's finest. One is where we're at right now during a pin or a submission check. And if Roddy calls for it, since he has a rating of 10, an 85% chance, right around that he will get disqualified. Now, if Roddy was a champion, I'd strongly consider using this, because his goal is to keep the belt at all costs. But since he's a challenger, I don't want to take his chance away of winning the title, so I'm not gonna call for outside help. The other outside help that can occur is Roddy can use his strategy card anytime in the match, other than during a pin or submission. If he calls for it, he still has at least a 50% chance, if not a little bit more, of getting disqualified. But he has a better chance of somehow having an ally help him and not get him disqualified. So for now, we're going to go no. Now, once we click no, we will see a third number pop in this box. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, Hulk Hogan has pinned his adversary, Roddy Piper. So here we go. 24. Hot Rod kicked out. Whew. All right, so we're going to continue on. Roddy turns the table and is able to counter Hulk Hogan. Now, what we're going to do here is, after a successful hold, I can use the outside ring chart. He's going to try to get Hulk Hogan outside the ring. This is what I explained earlier, a counter. When a wrestler counters a move, it is now assumed that Roddy is actually in control and has passed the successful hold test. Doesn't mean it can't be countered, but for this purpose, Roddy is considered a successful hold. So as you see here, after a successful hold, use outside ring chart. One thing I want to mention on strategy cards, I cannot play the game without strategy cards. If I don't have them, the game is just, for me, is not as enjoyable. I like to have some say in the matches. I like the luck factor the strategy cards bring into play. You know, depending on the strategy cards a wrestler gets, I like that aspect of it. Some people prefer not to use the strategy cards, and that's completely their call. I just know I don't enjoy the matches near as much without them. I will say this, though, if you do use the strategy cards, you should use all of the cards available. And the reason I say that is, if your house rules are, well, I'm never going to use such and such strategy card, if that's a very strong card and you don't want to use it for either wrestler, it really penalizes a face or a good guy wrestler, because several of the strategy cards really are only going to be used by a heel, such as call for outside help, roll out of the ring for a breather, or use a foreign object. If you start limiting the cards you're not going to use, then a face gets can very much be penalized. So I believe you either use all the cards or don't use any of them, because otherwise you're going to put some limits on mainly the face wrestler. So what we're going to do now is Roddy's got to turn this tide, so we're going to play this card. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get him outside the ring, but at least it's going to give him a chance. So we're going to play this card, click action. Roddy got him outside the ring. Now, the drawback to doing this, Roddy's taking a chance, because what if a count out or a double count out occurs? Then Roddy has lost his chance to win the title, but he's in such a tough spot right now with Hogan dominating. He needs to do something to turn the tide, and he just has to gamble on this. So let's click OK. Oh, Roddy got him outside the ring and body slammed him on the floor. 19 off Hogan. So he's down to 12. So let's see if Roddy can keep the advantage now. Roll in reverse. So once they got back in the ring, I pictured Hogan maybe being a little dinged up and maybe a little dizzy from it all, and Roddy's going to try to get him with a roll in reverse here. But Hulk's still way too strong, so he powers out. Hulk now jumping up. I can see Hulk maybe getting up, being a little bit upset, and quickly grabbing Piper in a rear chin lock, but being the cheater he is, it's actually a chokehold. Hulk passed the DQ check, so he punches Roddy, 6 off, and Roddy's down to his next level. Oh, he's got Piper locked in a sleeper. It's impossible for Piper to submit because he has a 0, and I just cancel it at this point. So we're going to cancel it. Roddy's down to 2. Need no action as they're kind of now slowly studying each other. We're up to 13-14 of the match. Roddy went for a choke, but Hogan was ready, and he counters it. So Hogan keeps Piper in the corner. I could see Piper moving in to try to go for a choke, and Hogan maybe steps out of the way and just slams Piper into the corner and just starts mauling him. So we have 9 off Piper, and a lot has just happened with that one move, and please let me explain. First of all, we took the 9 off. That actually bumped Roddy into the next stamina level. So now he's gone through his stamina twice, so he's up to 35, 34, 3. Hogan gets to go for a pin, so let's go ahead and do that. Roddy was somehow able to get out of that. He only had 5 numbers he could turn, but he did. So we're done here. Now, Piper's in trouble. He's been mauled. He's probably slumped in the corner, maybe getting ready to stagger out. Hulk senses this, and this might be an excellent time to play his specific specialty hold. One thing I did not mention, and intentionally because I want to wait until this point, when I explained how every time a wrestler gets to his stamina level, we take his second rating, which is 5, and then we add it to his first 2 pin and submission numbers. What also happens each time he hits his stamina level, his counters to specialty moves are reduced by 5. So in this case, since Roddy's now gone through his stamina level twice, he has to take 10 numbers off his counter to Hogan's all of his specialty moves. So this means Hulk, not only if he lands it, will have a better chance of pinning Piper, it also means he has a better chance of actually getting to apply it, because Piper's counters are lower. So Hulk's going to go ahead and play this card, and we're going to go action. Now, what happened here was Hulk didn't maintain control. So Roddy was able to avoid any even chance. So Hulk never actually used that strategy card. It didn't get that far. But Roddy went for a suplex, so I can picture Roddy coming out of the corner and quickly trying to grab a suplex, but Hulk was easily avoids it and counters it. So this means Hulk actually has applied what we call a successful hold. He still has to successfully do it. So we're going to go back here because it says after a successful hold, which what a counter is, Hulk's going to play this card again. Now, opponent is using a strategy card. After a successful hold, use a specific specialty hold. If Roddy wants to, he can use his counter strategy card. And he is going to use it, because if Hulk lands this move, Roddy's pin rating will be almost 40-40-40. So we're going to counter it. And you'll notice Hulk loses his strategy card, and Roddy loses his counter card. So Roddy's now down to 5, and Hogan's down to 4. We can take a quick review here. Hogan still has the 2 ropes cards, and he has 2 outside help. So basically, he has 2 usable strategy cards. Both are excellent. Roddy, on the other hand, still has a specialty hold, still has an outside the ring, still has another specialty hold, and then an outside ring and get to the rope. So Roddy's loaded right now. So let's continue on. Hogan went for a forearm, but Piper was able to counter it. This time Roddy does get a land to suplex, and this move, the 10 off, knocked Hogan into his next stamina level. So you see his stamina went up to 27-27-1. So here we go. Hogan still too strong, powers out. Hogan's in control. He passed the DQ check. 6 off Piper. Roddy's down to 60. Going back outside the ring. Hulk taking him out there.
Bleeding profusely from around the right eye and the head.
So once again, Roddy's cut. He's now got 50 off, 199 off, and his stamina's down to 20. Right now, if Hulk could land a specialty move, he'd have an excellent chance of winning this match. Oh, didn't know it was coming, but here we go. And this is curtains for one hot rod Roddy Piper, more than likely. Hulk Hogan has control. I can picture him rolling Piper back in the ring after he was cut. Hogan climbs in after him, quickly lifts him up, body slams an already dazed and bloody Piper, bounces off the ropes, comes down with the big leg across the chest of Piper, and if you notice, Roddy Piper's pin rating is now 40-40-40. Means 100% he'll be pinned unless ropes comes up. So here we go. We got a 1. We got a 2. And Roddy has that get to the ropes card. He can now stop this pin from occurring. Roddy is saved. So we're going to click yes. And he made it to the ropes. So the match continues. So now, if we look at Roddy's situation, he has a specialty hold, outside ring, specialty hold, and outside help. So let's see if he can come back now. Textbook arm drag, Piper's in trouble, folks. We're going back outside the ring. Oh, this time, Hogan attempted a move outside the ring, but Roddy countered it, and he clotheslined Hogan on the floor. So that takes 15 off Hogan. Great comeback there by Piper. So now, Hogan's in his next level. Roddy is in control. If he can get a successful hold here, we're going to play this card. Now first, we have to have a successful hole. So let's see if that happens. He does, and now he can try a specialty move. And since it's not the specific one, the game's going to decide which hold is to be applied based on the frequency Roddy applies his specialty move. So here we go. If I'm Roddy, I'm hoping for the neck breaker or a foreign object. Sleeper doesn't do any good really because Hogan's still a 0, but it did take 8 off Hogan's stamina. So we're going to cancel it. Now we have a tough decision. Roddy has one more left for a specialty hold. Hogan's 37 points from going to his next level, which means his counters will be lower and his pin rating will go up. Does Roddy want to gamble that he can get him to the next level before either Roddy loses or gets disqualified or a double countout? Roddy's going to gamble here. He gets his punches countered. Hogan jumps from ropes and delivers a flying double axe handle. So let's see what happens here. You get a 1. Get a 2. 13. Roddy kicks out. Surprises double chop to the top of the head. No action. I think both wrestlers are getting tired and neither one's in a hurry. Roddy assumes control and loads with a barrage of punches, which knocks Hogan down to 31. Big punch to the jaw, down to 25. We're getting to our magic level. Oh, Roddy went up for a ropes move, but Hogan countered it. Hogan was unable to get him outside the ring, so he landed some punches. No action. Hogan studies Roddy Piper gamely and is being extremely cautious. Neither wrestler wants to make a mistake at this point. If we look at the match stats, Roddy's got 249 off. Hogan only has 97. Piper punches, gets him down to 19. Kick down to 13. A choke, down to 6. Roddy wasn't able to get him outside the ring, but he did punches. Now, we got Hulk to his next stamina level. It's 33, 33, 1. Roddy senses this could be his. He's going to try this specialty hold. He has to get a successful hold first, so let's see what happens. He did. He's going to go for a specialty move. Goes for a sleeper again, but this time Hogan's ready and counters it. Hogan, leg lock. Another choke hold. Uh-oh. Hogan going for it all. Clothesline, but he's not able to pin Piper. So how I could see that happening is Hogan delivers the clothesline, but it took a lot out of him, and he goes down, too fatigued to crawl over and make the cover. Roddy, while they're both on the mat, is able to apply a painful arm breaker. Uh-oh, could have a disqualification. Roddy might be disqualified. Oh, Roddy Piper delivers a move that knocks Hulk Hogan over the top rope. Referee immediately disqualifies Roddy Piper. So in this situation, we either had a violation by throwing a wrestler over the top rope, or if that's not the case, maybe in delivering that move, Piper did something that the referee felt was a disqualifying type move. Maybe he did a deliberate low blow before throwing him out. Maybe referee had warned him about the punches and Piper threw a couple more before hurling him out. But one way or the other, Roddy Piper is disqualified. And this here was a great match. We had a lot of things occur. It went 27 minutes and 42 seconds. One thing I'm going to show you here, and we'll be going into this in a future video, we can go up here to statistics and we can look at single match statistics. And some of this is cut off, I realize, but here you can see that Roddy Piper applied 11 holds. Hulk Hogan had 15. We had no action for Piper, 3 for Hogan. And you know, you can go through, we had 2 DQ checks for Hogan, and we had 3 for Piper. Hogan landed 5 specialty moves where Roddy only landed 1. This is all saved. automatically to a file, and you can review this at any time. Some other statistics you can look at are cumulative match results. So if we back up here, you'll see Roddy Piper versus Hulk Hogan, the date today, the stamina, the time of the match, the cuts 50 off Roddy, the type of match, the result DQ, it was human versus human, and the winner is Hulk Hogan, and he was the champion for this match. Now, if you wanted to go in and look at cumulative statistics, you could select a wrestler, and I'm going to go into the master, and I honestly don't know what's in here because I do a lot of play testing. And let's just see who we can find for Mr. Hot Rod Piper. So we're going to go here, we're going to click OK, and these are all of Roddy Piper's matches. You'll see, I'm going to try to slide that over just a little bit. You'll see he has, he had a no DQ match with DiBiase, and we had a stoppage for cuts to wrestler 1, which would have been Roddy Piper. And here he pinned Ted DiBiase twice. And then we have some classic styles here where he fought Hulk Hogan, and it tells you if Roddy won or lost. And then down here it gives you a summary. He's had 10 matches, 4 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw. And you can call that up for any wrestler, because you'll see here Roddy Piper versus. And again, all of this is easily, you can save the result. You can, it will get placed on a spreadsheet. You can open the spreadsheet. You can add columns, take columns out, do whatever you want, sort it. A lot of possibilities with the statistic package. Gary did an excellent job with this. So we'll exit out of this. We'll go back here to the main game screen, give you one final look. Had this match gone on, Roddy had an outside ring card that he probably would have played, even though it might have cost a double count out, but I think the gamble was worth it. He had an outside help card, which possibly would have played. Hogan had the 2 get to the ropes cards, which would have prevented 2 pins, and he had 2 outside help cards, which he probably would not have used. What I hope you picked up on this, I believe it's easy to use the strategy cards for both wrestlers, even if you are controlling both wrestlers. As I said in a previous video, when playing a strategy card, whether it was for Piper or Hogan, you base it on the match information at hand, stamina off, time of the match, pin ratings, and everything. You just don't even consider what the opponent has for his strategy cards. Don't play or not play a strategy card based on what strategy card his opponent has. That way, you can make the decision without any thinking, oh, geez, if I play this card, I know Piper has a get to the ropes card, so why would I play it? Just ignore the fact, Piper has the get to the ropes card. Go ahead, do your specialty move. If Piper does get to the ropes, that's fine, but you're making your decisions independent of each wrestler. What we're going to do next, and back in, I believe it was November of 13, Gary and I spent many months, probably about close to a year actually, in designing a computer opponent feature for Wrestling's Finest, where you can have the computer control one or both wrestlers, and all the match decisions, including strategy cards, are decided by the computer. Once you decide to let the computer control the wrestler, you cannot change that during the match. You basically give up your control of that wrestler and allow the computer to do it. In essence, you're actually playing against me, because the computer for many things is programmed how I play the game. There are some things that are of common sense. We want to try to replicate how wrestling was booked back during the territory days. So some of those decisions are based on how wrestling was. But other decisions, like when you call for your strategy cards, when you go for an illegal pin, are mainly based on how I play the game. So we will go through 2 of those matches. one where the computer controls both wrestlers, and one where the computer will control one and I will control the other. So I look forward to running that video. Again, appreciate you following along. I know this video went a little long, but the match kind of dictated it. So please continue to join in, and I will continue to bring videos forward that I think will help with the understanding of the game and maybe help you decide if Wrestling's Finest is for you. Thanks again, everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.